Hey guys, it's Keels. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed, you definitely should because I post new videos related to dance, fitness, lifestyle. What else do I do? Beauty and fashion. For today's video, a while ago, probably like over a month ago, I asked you guys on my Instagram, which is at Keeleyterai_, any dance or cheer related questions that you have. Yeah, if you didn't know, I had been dancing for like 17 years or 18, a long time, and cheer for maybe a good 10 years. So I've got a bit of background, a little bit of wisdom, expertise. Not really. Okay. So starting with a fun first question, it is, have you ever met Abby Lee from Dance Mums? So, I've actually been lucky enough to have met her a couple of times. I'm not sure what exactly the years were that I met her, but when she came to Australia for like her first tour, I met her on a Friday where she did this like little high tea function and the girls did like a little presentation of some dancers in their costumes. So I met her that Friday. Mum let me take off school, we went in, and then on the Saturday was like her Melbourne masterclass. I met her there, I got a photo with her, and I also made the top 10, so I kind of like spoke to her a little bit more, being like one-on-one when she was like going through the line and like talking to us kind of thing.
Step forward, step forward, step forward, step forward. Watch. Learn something. What are they doing that you didn't do? What do they have on that's different? What made me choose them? Amazing grace, like me.
And then that same tour, she went to Sydney next, and my mum, being amazing and being able to just literally give me every opportunity to exist, me and my friend Sammy went to the masterclass in Sydney, so we did that one too, and I think I got some more photos with her there. So that was like my first time, and then a couple years later she came for her ultimate dance competition. Again, I did that in Melbourne, and oh, this time I made the top 7. Last time I made the top 6. Yeah. And then besides from those 2 masterclasses that I did when she toured to Australia, I've also been to her LA studio. That was so much fun. And when I went over there, she was doing like a summer camp. So I got to do that for nearly a week. I did on and off classes doing like acro, like silks, and then also hip hop with one of their really well-known hip hop coaches. And then that's when Rebecca Davies and Ashley Ross were over there as well. They were literally the ones that convinced Mum and I to go over and like go do all those masterclasses while they were there. So yeah, I met Abby when I was there, and at the time I also did like an audition for Dance Mums because they were doing open auditions at the same time as their summer workshops. So yeah, I've met her a few times, which is pretty cool because I know people would be so excited to meet her once, but I've been lucky enough to have met her a lot of times. So yeah. Next one is, how long were you in Dance Prescriptions / Architect Squadron for, and which one did you enjoy most? I auditioned for Dance Prescriptions when Lisa and Rebecca were doing that program together. It was mainly run by Lisa, but Rebecca would do like privates at the time, and I auditioned for that. I think I was like 14 or something, and I did it for 2 years. So I did it when I was like 14 and 15, and then Architect Squadron I think I did for a year and a half, or up until I hurt my foot and then I couldn't do it. So yeah, that's how long I did those for, roughly. And then which one did you enjoy most? I don't know, it's a little bit hard. I have a couple of questions that revolve around this, so I'll address them and then do one big answer. There was another question that was just asking about my experience at Dance Prescription and Radar Technique, and then also like why I switched programs and what I thought about them, and then if I do them again. So I'm gonna try and address all of that in this answer. So at the start, I really enjoyed Dance Prescriptions. I made it into that program with like 5 other girls from my studio, which was really cool. And I really enjoyed Dance Prescriptions because obviously it was a really good experience for me, and we did like a lot of conditioning and just like focusing on particular skills, and then obviously all the other dancers in the program was so incredible, and a lot of them are like really well known now as well. So it was fun that we were all the same age and roughly all had like the same ability and passion for dance, and then also having Lisa and Rebecca teaching at the same time was a lot of fun. I moved to Rebecca mainly because I had already done workshops with her previously, and my mum, being a dance teacher as well, knew about Rebecca Davies earlier and all the success she had had. So that's kind of why I moved. Mainly Mum made that decision for me. I really didn't know much at the time, but that's kind of why. At Architect Squadron I had a really good time as well. Probably a little bit more hardcore, if that makes sense. I think I improved the most technically at Architect Squadron, but then Dance Prescriptions was really good for like moving into it more seriously and going into programs and really focusing focusing on dance. I have nothing really against either of them. They were both really good, but the only downfall was that, and I don't want to be rude, but there were a lot of little kids in the groups, and it was just hard when you're focusing on yourself and you have these little 6-year-olds next to you that are in your space, and I don't know. You really had to fight for the front and the attention of the teachers because these little kids were like in your class. So I don't know, that was my only downfall. But one thing to note, I feel like the best age to do it is probably when I did start, which was like 14s. Honestly, I would recommend either of those if you're like 13, maybe even younger, because there are some girls that started when they were like 7, and obviously they're older now and they're really good. So I think the younger you can start, the better, but prime time would probably be like 12 to 15. And then after that, it's a bit hard because training is like usually on the weekends. You've got more school commitments and dance commitments besides from that, so it does get really hard to juggle. But if you're really focused on your dance and that's all you want to do, then it's a really good move. And also looking back at it now, I loved it. I'm so glad I did it. So if that's something you're considering, definitely try an audition, see if you can get into it, because you will definitely improve. I improved like crazy with them, and it was a really good experience, and they do offer you a lot of opportunity in your dance life as well. Another one was commented on one of my tutorial videos, and it was just like asking how to get a good leg hold and how to get good tilts. To sum that up, I would say stretching is very important, because if you're not super stretchy and flexible to be able to have your leg that high, it's going to be hard to get the image that you want and that you're envisioning yourself to try and achieve. But also good balance, which comes from good core strength. So focus on your abs, really focus on your core, balancing on like one leg, all those different drills that you can do for that. And then also just technique, like once you're in a leg mount, make sure your hips down, make sure your hips are forward, that your leg is like straight in front of you and your hips are square and it's not tilted out the side. And then once you move into the tilt, mainly just like stability and how you can control your leg up there by itself, and to be able to throw yourself off center to do the tilt. So yeah, those are just like my areas to focus on to then get a good tilt. Next question is, what was your favorite / hardest dance skill that you were proudest for achieving? I was always really proud and excited when I got like my front aerial, and to be able to get it consistently and also on the hard floor, and then also to have the stamina to do it in a dance routine. So that was always something that I felt really accomplished with, that when I could do it and easily. Also any type of kick turn, I always struggled with them, and I focused on those a lot when I was in Dance Prescriptions and Architect Squadron. I really wanted to focus on my kick turns because all the other girls were already so good at them before I started learning them. So I think every time I could get like an extra turn was really exciting, and I felt really proud of getting that, because I don't know, I always kind of found them hard to get multiple and also to do them in routines. Once I could get like a solid double or triple kick turn, they ended up in every routine, and I just got so stressed out because like I was so inconsistent with them. I could get it nice in training, and then warm-up floor I'd be like stressing because I can't get a double. But another skill that I found really hard to conquer and get good was the Maddie jump. I had so much trouble for that one for years, and I just avoided doing it. Like if you were in my teams, you would know how much I hated that jump and how much I struggled. So that was probably what I was most proudest of. Next question is, how is your foot after having a break? If you didn't know, I had a loose frank injury. I'll put it on the screen, basically what it was, but I had to get surgery twice on that. When I got surgery the first time, I got a plate put in, and after that I was still having pain, but obviously not as bad as when I injured my foot, but it was still like really hard to dance on. Like emotionally and physically drained me because it was just difficult and hurt. But then the second surgery, I got the plate taken out, and literally since then it's been fine. Like I wouldn't even know that I had surgery on it twice, and then I have a big scar on my foot. Like it doesn't hurt at all, which is really good. Okay, next question. What was the audition you were most nervous for? These aren't really auditions, but they made me very nervous. And it was pretty much any Abby Lee masterclass. I'd get so nervous going into it because one, I don't know, I had this underlying pressure of having to do well and to make like the top 20 or top 10. I don't want to get too much into that, but I did have a little bit of pressure and expectations for me to get to that point. So that was like really nerve-wracking, but then also that I knew I'd have to sing, that was scary. So that was probably why I was like very nervous for those master classes. But audition wise, I think auditioning for Dance Prescriptions the very first time, I was the most nervous because everyone in the room was so good, and it was so scary because again, I kind of had the expectations that I had to do well in the audition, audition or at least possibly make it into the program. So I was very nervous for that, and I just was hoping that it was a good day for me and that I could do tricks well and show my potential. But then also, not really auditions, but every time I had a ballet exam, I get really nervous for that because I never really knew what I was doing. Just because I had no care in the world for ballet, and exams, like, that's the last thing I wanted to do. So I did not practice or like actually learn any of the terminology. So when I go into an exam, that was like petrifying. I don't even know how I remembered those steps because like I used to follow everyone in class. So yeah, that was also something I used to get very nervous for. And one last question, competition tips and tricks. I haven't planned for these questions. I'm just gonna think off the top of my head what my top tips would be. But for the night before a competition, I always have like pasta or just something high in carbs so I can soak up all that energy that I can get, and definitely make sure I have a good night's sleep. Very, very important, so I'm just energized for the next day. And then obviously breakfast, I usually have like an Up and Go, give me a bit of protein, I think. But I make sure to have like a good breakfast, and throughout the day, really focus on your Powerade and your water. Powerade makes you hydrated quicker, so if you're running in between routines, definitely have Powerade. Lollies as a quick fix, definitely before you are about to compete. But besides from like eating and resting, those are good ways to prepare for a comp. But my top tips would be to just be focused. It's game day. When I'm getting ready, I'll play some like music that really pumps me up, so I'm like in the zone. And then when I'm at the comp, all I focus about is just like my routines, what I'm wanting to get out of them, like how I'm wanting to perform that routine, but then also what my ideal result of that routine will be. And just not letting any competition psych me out is really important. And something for you guys, if you get really nervous and just intimidated by your competition. I used to be like this all the time, but the one thing I'd always tell myself is just pretend like you're confident and then you will be confident. I, in the warm-up room, used to pretend I was really confident when really I was like petrified. I just wanted it to be over with. But I would whip out my best kick turns, my aerials, I would stretch to the max and just do anything to try and psych others out to make myself feel more confident. But just focus on you. You have trained so hard. Don't think about any possibilities going wrong because you'll be fine. Don't manifest it to happen. But yeah, that's just one really big tip. Just be confident, have trust in yourself. And then a tip for when you're actually performing, if you're struggling with stamina, just think you're nearly done. After this, you can have a rest. Even if you have a routine coming up, you will get your energy back in like 3 minutes. That's all it takes. Just keep pushing yourself, really perform yourself. Don't think of having to get through the routine. Think of how you can perform every single step to the best that you can, and just be in the moment. Don't think about everyone watching you or what the judges are gonna think. Just dance like you mean it. Hopefully those were good tips and that they were valuable. Anyway, that is the end of today's video. If you guys want another part to this, I can definitely do another Q&A. You can just comment questions down below, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. I really don't mind. But if you want, I can do part 2. Make sure to like this video if you did enjoy, and also go subscribe if you aren't already, because you won't regret it. Oh my god. Regret it. You won't regret it. That's embarrassing. Okay, anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.